It is a brutally cold day out there, and it's going to remain that way as we head through the afternoon and evening. Our wind chill forecast remains in the single digits through the peak heating of the day. We will track all of this, plus some snowmakers coming at us. All of that coming up for you.
I'm Mike Byer in Lexington. Coming up, a local organization is working to keep our homeless warm and safe during this cold spell.
Hundreds of people didn't let the extreme cold of today keep them from paying tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. this morning.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. Bill Bryant and Barbara Bailey here for WKYT. And if you are heading outside today at all, you need to bundle up.
Oh, you're right. Despite the sunshine we're enjoying, temperatures won't get out of the teens. With the wind, it feels even colder. We've declared a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day because of the dangerous cold.
And we began with meteorologist Jim Caldwell, who has a check of the forecast. Jim?
Guys, it doesn't take a lot of time outside being exposed to this type of cold to become dangerous and to become a major health risk. So keep that in mind. Temperatures right now hovering in the teens here in Lexington. We're at 14 degrees, which is a whole lot warmer than where we started with a lot of those single digits in the area. Covington's still coming in at 9 degrees. We work our way all the way through central and eastern Kentucky, and you find teens. Let's factor in the winds because that's what it's going to feel like when you go outside, and we are still hovering right around 0 in Lexington, 3 below 0 in Richmond. So you get the general idea. Those winds, they're not that strong either, are making it feel very uncomfortable out there. A little bit of snow shower activity has been popping up here and there across parts of eastern Kentucky and out into parts of West Virginia. That's as close as it's been. Another system will come at us, though. We go through the evening. I think we get up to around 15, 16 degrees. Still a little bit breezy at that point. And then as we go into your Tuesday, another day where we start off with the single digits, but we'll start to warm up after that because we've got a system that's moving in for us that brings snow chances for midweek. That's the first one. Another one comes at the end of the week that has more accumulation potential. We will track those chances and maybe how much we're looking at with some of the model data coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, plenty to watch.
Well, the best way for many people to survive this extreme cold is to stay indoors. But there are many people in our community who don't have a warm place to go.
Across the area, organizations are working hard right now. They're trying to make sure that no one is left outside. WKYT's Mike Byer begins our First Alert Weather Team coverage with a look at one group's efforts in Lexington. Mike?
While we're fighting these dangerously cold temperatures, the Catholic Action Center is fighting to keep our homeless warm and safe.
The doors are open for you. Just come on in. You know, we'd rather have you in here than out there in that cold, cold weather.
This is where the Compassionate Caravan comes into play. Organizers say last night alone they picked up 79 people off the street, bringing them to the Catholic Action Center as well as other shelters around Lexington. The caravan will be back out in full force this afternoon and into the night. Volunteers will be finding those in need, giving them supplies and offering to get them inside to a warm place. Meanwhile, a new tool has been added this year, the Compassionate Caravan line. This is where people can call or text if they see someone who needs assistance. Letha Simmons works with the center. She says the phones have been ringing off the hook.
We're asking everybody, if you're seeing somebody that's out there, please call us or the police. Let's get them in out of the cold.
Remember, making this call could save a life. In Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you. Now, the number for the Compassionate Caravan line is 859-913-0038. We'll put that on our website at WKYT.com, and organizers say you can call or text the number.
Well, in this bitter cold, it's important to have the right winter gear. A coat, hat, and scarf can go a long way to keep you warm and safe. Unfortunately, not everyone can afford the essentials. WKYT's Hillary Thornton continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage with a look at the unique way one group is trying to help. Hillary?
These scarves tied around posts and trees here in Phoenix Park are just one example of how various groups are coming together to help those in need. One of those groups putting together what they are calling Operation Wash Away Homelessness passed out dozens of scarves in Phoenix Park last night, also leaving the cold weather gear tied around trees and posts. The group is not stopping there, looking ahead to more cold weather in store. The group, organized by only 3 Lexington women, bringing together hundreds of scarves, hats, and gloves with their effort. It is an effort requiring them to stand out in the cold for a few minutes, but one they say they did not think twice about.
I never know, but one day I might need help. One day I might need a hand or, somebody to reach out to, and I would just hope that someone would be as compassionate.
The group wants to thank all of the various organizations and community members who are donating, allowing them to give those in need a sense of warmth. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. And the group is planning another scarf giveaway this month. If you'd like to help with that or any of the other events and things that they are doing, we have a link to their page on our website, WKYT.com. Well, be prepared for winter weather and traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores. Thousands braved the extreme cold to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today.
The Freedom March took place this morning in downtown Lexington, and as WKYT's Mark Barber talked with marchers today, they said that our country has come a long way in promoting King's ideals, but there's still a long way to go.
Despite the bitter cold, hundreds of people showed up to walk in the Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom March. While it was extremely cold, many people said it was extremely important to be here. The crowd stretched down Vine Street and Main Street as hundreds marched to remember the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Bundled up against the Arctic blast, people of all races and religions marched to promote the ideals of peace and unity, the same ideals that Dr. King lived and died for. Many here say while we have made great strides forward, there is still work to be done to create a nation without social inequality. Some who marched through the challenging cold temperatures this morning say they came out because those who marched during the civil rights movement did so under much harder circumstances.
The people that did this first face worse than this. A little cold means nothing, I got jackets to keep warm. I got people around to keep warm. As cold as it is, I wouldn't have missed it for the world because he's done so much to uplift us, but not just us, but humanity as a whole. He did so much work for, and there was no way that I could miss this march.
At the end of the long and cold march, there were some warm-hearted people handing out some coffee for those who desperately needed to warm up. And yes, that coffee did double as a hand warmer. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
And a welcome sight for many down there for sure. Some worried that the cold temperatures would keep people away, but an estimated 2,000 people showed up to walk in the Freedom March today. And before the march, about 1,500 people gathered for the annual Unity Breakfast at Heritage Center. Community members gathered to discuss Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for peace. The Unity Breakfast chairman says the dream has not been realized yet, but unity will help make it happen.
The unity coming together of all of us from different backgrounds, ethnicities, whatever identification that we have, that unity is basically saying that we are all human beings and we all are deserving of equitable rights.
The day's events are concluding with a program that began at 11 o'clock and is continuing now, featuring several speakers, including actor Danny Glover.
Well, officials with the Drug Rehab Center in Kentucky say not only will their patients leave sober, but they'll leave the program with cash in their pockets. The Isaiah House in Willisburg in Washington County puts patients to work while they're going through rehab. They say it's part of a holistic approach to treatment. Patients have several work options, including construction and automotive work.
It just kind of gives you a sense of hope, just being up here knowing that you can work and not have to worry about the stresses of getting high in general.
Coming up tonight on WKYT News at 6, find out why Isaiah House directors believe they have found a model for drug recovery.
A grand jury has indicted a woman accused of concealing her boyfriend's death by putting his body in a freezer. 51-year-old Teresa Owens is facing 7 counts, including abuse of a corpse, evidence tampering, and theft. Authorities found Gary Jenks' body at the couple's home on Happy Ridge Road in Pulaski County in September. The Commonwealth Journal reports an autopsy found no wounds, but indicated Jenks had heart disease.
Well, a big shout out today to the University of Kentucky cheerleading team. They're bringing home another national championship. They've won a record 21 Division 1A co-ed national titles. That was what they won last night in Orlando. And Moorhead swept its division as well. EKU came in third. A lot of great cheerleaders around here. The University of Cincinnati has settled with the family of a man killed by one of their police officers. We'll tell you what the family will receive.
That's coming up on Kentucky's #1 midday news. Also, the United Kingdom wants to ban Donald Trump. Why he might no longer be welcome there ahead.
And an Arctic air mass has arrived, and it's bringing wind chill readings at sub-zero levels in some cases, but most of us are at least right around that. We will continue to track it through the afternoon. I have the latest coming up.
Hard work and support are giving former addicts hope.
It's not just about getting sober here. It's about getting your head on straight.
Go inside a place meant not only to repair, but to restore as well. Rebuilding Life, tonight at 6 on WKYT. When winter is at its worst, that's when WKYT calls a First Alert Severe Weather Day. Continuous coverage on air, on WKYT.com, and wherever you are with our news and weather apps. First Alert Severe Weather Days, only on WKYT.
Whether you're buying or servicing your car, for great customer service, come to Frankfort Toyota. Google rated 4.9 out of 5 stars. New 2016 Camrys, $179 a month or 0% for 60 months. And $500 bonus cash. 2016 Corollas, $159 a month. And RAV4s, $219 a month or 0% financing.
Price, selection, and service, it's all here.
Frankfort Toyota and online at frankforttoyota.com.
Ciao! I'm Sam Dick, inviting WKYT TV viewers to join me on a tour to classic Italy, October 8th to the 16th. Our vacation includes 2 nights near Venice, 2 nights in Florence, and 3 nights in the eternal city of Rome. We'll also visit Vatican City and travel through the charming Tuscan countryside. Our tour includes all airfare, great hotels, many delicious meals, and more. For your free brochure, call Holiday Vacations at 1-800-826-2266.
Up to now, affording a beautiful smile has been, well, sketchy. So picture this. Doctors Durbin, Walks, and Garner are offering an unheard of offer. No down payment and only $175 for 24 months on orthodontic treatment. It's their way of saying thank you. Clear Choice Orthodontics is an elite provider of Invisalign, offers digital imaging, clear porcelains, and accepts most insurance. Affordable orthodontic treatment. Now that's something to smile about. Learn more at clearchoicesmile.com.
Are you ready for some great deals? The 2016 kickoff event is on at Adams Buick GMC Truck in Richmond. Now you can drive a new GMC Terrain for just $199 a month. Save $9,000 on a new Sierra Crew Cab 4x4. Save $7,000 on a new Sierra 4x4. Or get 0% for 60 months and $4,000 off on a new GMC Acadia. Plus, get the Adams Advantage, a limited lifetime powertrain warranty. The 2016 kickoff event is on at Adams Buick GMC Truck in Richmond, where
Sid says sell them.
Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. An Ohio police officer died in the line of duty overnight.
The Knox County, Ohio sheriff says deputies found the officer's body after receiving a call from a woman saying her ex-boyfriend had weapons and wanted to kill an officer. The officer has been identified as Thomas Cottrell of Danville, Ohio, their police department. Police captured a suspect around 1:30 this morning following a short chase. The University of Cincinnati has settled with the family of a man shot and killed by a police officer. UC officer Ray Tenzing is charged with murder in the death of Samuel Dubose. As part of the settlement, the family will receive more than $4 million and free tuition for all of the 12 Dubose children. The UC president will apologize to the family, and there will be a memorial to Dubose on campus.
Volunteers and first responders are braving the cold today and continuing their search for a missing 2-year-old in Tennessee. Noah Chamberlain wandered away from his grandmother during a walk in the woods east of Memphis last Thursday. Hundreds of people volunteered over this weekend to help with the search.
Well, last night featured the most contentious debate yet for the Democratic presidential candidates. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders tangled over gun control, Wall Street, and the future of health care in America. Martin O'Malley was also on the debate stage, but Clinton and Sanders took up most of the time. Today, British lawmakers will debate banning Donald Trump from the United Kingdom. More than 500,000 people signed a petition calling for the ban because of his remarks about Muslims. The debate won't result in a binding vote.
Well, around here locally, we have some dangerously cold weather in the area this afternoon.
So how long will it be sticking around, Jim?
Guys, we're going to hold on to it through the afternoon into tomorrow morning. But the problem is, after the cold breaks, the snow invades. We will track that coming up.
Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line.
Hi, I'm Lori McCreary, and I started my business 3 years ago. As a business owner, there's always this balance of great customer service as well as being able to provide a really good product. Not everybody has both. I knew that I could trust in traditional bank to help us figure it out, make the right decision, and then just come up with the funding that can help us really just grow and innovate. Traditional bank is truly passionate about what they do for their customers and what they do for us, and it's seen every day when I walk in the door.
I'm a policeman with the Versailles Police Department, trying to help someone across the street. Car hit me, and then I had 3 surgeries. They said I had to be 100% in order to return to work, but I wasn't, so I had to retire. I couldn't ask for better help than I did get from Becker Law. A friend of mine called me a couple of months ago, and she needed an attorney, and I said, well, call Becker Law offices.
Call the Becker Law office. Just dial 3s.
Toyota's Anytime Anywhere event is going on anytime, anywhere you are at buyatoyota.com. And now you can get 0% financing on many of your favorite new Toyotas and get 2-year no-cost maintenance included. Save even more on a 2015 Prius liftback with $2,000 cash back, plus another $3,000 in fuel savings. So visit here and then come in here for your new Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
What do these women have in common? They are the staff of Ageless Medical Weight Loss. They've lost a combined 1,300 pounds. The team at Ageless will understand your struggles and celebrate your victories. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
Hey, we did it. We did it. We won. Our number is 1! Let me see that ticket.
Well, it was Kathy's turn to buy the ticket.
I had to work a double. Bill said he'd get him.
I had bowling. Late night. Yeah. So Daryl said he'd get him.
Didn't get my text?
Pickle the chickens?
No. Pick up the tick.
The only way you can win Kentucky's Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot is if you actually buy your ticket.
Considering bankruptcy? Call Atkinson, Sims & Kermode. Start your bankruptcy for only $78 now. Dial 859. Call Ask for your free consultation.
The Nighthawk Special, only $13.99 this week at Columbia Steakhouse.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Rewind 105.5.
Today is the first alert severe weather day because of the cold. And you've certainly noticed it if you've been outside or if your heat pump just continues to run. You've got a lot of cold air outside that's triggering that, trying its best to get inside the house. If you don't have to go out, stay in. Just chill with us for the rest of the day here. An Arctic air mass has arrived. It's sitting right over us across Kentucky. It's bringing single-digit wind chill readings as well, and even some sub-zero wind chill readings as well, though, during the afternoon and evening. But right now, it's more widespread single-digit. And then we've got midweek snow chances coming at us as well. It's going to get a little more active around here. We'll track it more so into Wednesday. As you see, a shot of snow starts to roll into the area during the morning hours and into midday as well, and we'll continue tracking across central and eastern Kentucky, bringing us a chance of, yes, accumulating snow. This one has potential to bring us at least a few inches throughout the entire area. And I'll tell you what, it looks a little more impressive compared to what it has earlier. It's got more of a southerly track to it, which brings more of the snow into our area. So a lot coming at us over the next little bit. Right now, though, we have enough coming at us because it's 14 degrees outside here in Lexington, 12 out toward London and into Jackson. You factor in the winds, and we're hovering around a 0 feels like temperature, and even 2 below 0 there in Jackson, as I mentioned, but a lot of single digits, so that continues to be a widespread issue, and it will be through the afternoon and evening. Single digit wind chill expected pretty much the rest of the day. And it doesn't take a lot of wind to get there either once you get to this level of cold. We go into the nighttime and early tomorrow morning, more of those sub-zero readings are breaking out all over the place. And then we catch a break into Tuesday as things are starting to change with that next system already showing up. Out there on our radar network, it's quiet today. A few flakes of snow showing up across eastern Kentucky. That's really been about it. Area of high pressure tracks out of here and opens the door for that system, and that's going to be that snowmaker. You can see that snow coming together a little more so into parts of Illinois going into Tuesday night and into Wednesday as well. Here's one of our models. It's not one that we're just going to hang our hat on, but it's just certainly a general idea of how much snow we could see out of this system. A good couple of inches or more possible. That's the European model. Yes, David. Yes, David. That is the that's the European model. And there you see our 7-day forecast, which features today's cold. We maxed out around 16, and then 20 tomorrow, which is going to feel better. I promise. It really will. And then the snow chances start getting thrown at us. Messy, right?
Yeah, it looks like
that's one word for it.
Some time. You said really don't see an end to this pattern, you know?
I didn't want to admit to it. Yeah, you're right. It's going to stick.
Well, keep it here on WKYT. We're back in a moment. And some former Cats could be in the hunt for Olympic gold.
And John Calipari is in search of, well, of consistency. Dave Baker has sports next.
Your father escaped from prison this morning.
I will get him back in prison.
I've missed you, son.
The day my father set off a toy bomb and killed half a dozen people was the day I stopped being his son.
Think about what's best for your son.
That's all I think about. You have to find him before he blows this place up.
Game over.
New Supergirl, CBS tonight, or stream it live or on demand.
If you have arthritic knee pain that's stopping you from enjoying life, this new information about osteo relief could be for you. Specially trained local doctors are now using advanced medical science to finally make headway for people suffering from knee arthritis pain. It may even be for those who suffer from bone on bone and are considering knee replacement surgery. Are you one of the millions of Americans who have difficulty with simple everyday tasks, rising from a chair, walking, climbing stairs without using the handrail? If so, the Osteo Relief method utilizes cutting-edge video motion imaging. With this imaging, these doctors can precisely guide an FDA-approved cushioning gel to relieve pain and help heal your knees. This innovative procedure is covered by Medicare and most major insurance if you qualify. And you'll be walking out in as little as 15 minutes. For a limited time, these specially trained doctors are offering a risk-free screening. Call to schedule your knee relief screening today.
The good news is you're not badly injured, and we're going to give you $1,000 to cover all your medical bills. You're probably going to miss a couple days of work, but I'm sure they're going to take care of you in vacation time. Just in case, we're going to float you a couple $100 to help out, okay?
Okay.
Just sign here, and I'll go ahead and get you a check.
A smiling cheater is still a cheater. Come on now. You know what to do. Call 800-800-4600.
Folks have been taking the short drive to satisfaction for over 20 years. Not only Winchester folks, but folks all across the state and even across the country. And who wouldn't come here? With over 2,500 vehicles to choose from here in Winchester, Kentucky. No matter if it's 100 miles or the short drive from Lexington, our staff will help you start your journey. Tim Short Chevrolet.
Everyone is singing praises about essential oils and trying to make their home free of toxic chemicals. Get the facts yourself and learn how Young Living essential oils can help support your family's health and well-being. Visit justonedrop.com for more information and local classes.
Do you have to get in a car accident for your insurance to matter? What if you could get help with more often? You can. when you're a member and your insurance is AAA.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you, like WKYT on Facebook.
For a college basketball coach, this is the toughest time of the year. First and foremost, you're fighting for your lives in league play, and even during those times that you don't do what you're supposed to do, you got to hit the recruiting trail. Get to the big-time matchups that are happening now so you can keep reloading for the future. That has been the life of John Calipari. His team can't hold a double-digit second-half lead at Auburn, and today he's on the road before getting back and getting ready for a tough game Thursday night at Arkansas. And a tough game here at home Saturday against Vanderbilt. Short time ago on the weekly SEC teleconference, Cal said he's still trying to figure out what's going on.
We're still trying to figure it out. I look around, and I think a lot of teams are in the same boat we're in, where you don't have a whole lot of margin of error. You're trying to really get guys to settle into roles.
Championship on Saturday. Yesterday, Peyton Manning needing a win to meet Tom Brady in that game for a fourth time, but they'd have to beat the Steelers first. Fourth quarter, Steelers up 13-12. Fitzgerald Toussaint takes the handoff. Oh, he gets hit and fumbles. DeMarcus Ware is there for the recovery. Biggest play of the game, Broncos ball. What does Denver do with it? They drive it all the way down the field. Great drive by Peyton Manning. Third and goal. C.J. Anderson takes the handoff and gets it into the end zone. Broncos up 7 after the two-point conversion. Steelers trying to come back. 4th and 5. Roethlisberger tries to avoid the pressure, but he is swarmed under by the Broncos. And Peyton Manning, after all the injuries, going back to the AFC title game 23-16, that AFC championship against New England. You can see it live right here on WKYT Sunday beginning at 3. Speaking of the playoffs, Randall Cobb made an unbelievable catch that was negated by a penalty in Saturday night's NFC divisional game between the Packers and the Cardinals. Cobb made the catch, but boy, did he pay for it. He suffered a chest injury that caused him to leave the game. They had to go to the hospital and check him out. The former Wildcat released from that Arizona hospital yesterday afternoon, said he's feeling much better and thanked everyone for their prayers and support. Great to see Randall Cobb is going to be okay. Much more on the Cats as they try to get things figured out and get set to take on Arkansas Thursday night in Fayetteville. We'll hear more from Coach Cal coming up a little bit later today, guys. But for now, that's a look at sports on your Monday.
All right, probably some interesting practices this week. Thank you, Dave.
I can imagine. And there's more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
Thousands head out in the cold to pay tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm Victor Puente in Rowan County, where a shelter will be opening later today to help keep people warm. Coming up at 12:30, we'll tell you where to go if you need assistance.
Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $30 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot, $50 million.